Last time we spoke about the concept of love according to the Torah, concept of ahava, when we explained the general mitzvah, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. I want now to apply it to how it's applied after. The main principle was that you have to love your fellow Jew the way you love yourself. The assumption that you love yourself, and you be able to love yourself if you relate to your whole self, which is the body and the soul. The way to love others, the way you love yourself, is extending yourself. Therefore, the more you give, the more you love, because you connect it to the things that you give, which is part of you. And if you remember, we talk about the difference between, that should not be, but it is, between good connection and love between husband and wife, wife and husband, versus themselves toward their children. With the children, there is no conditions. You give, not expect to get. And even if you're not getting, it's not preventing you from loving, because the children is part of you, is just extension of you. So naturally you love yourself. So the recipe is, if we could copy and paste our love to our children, to our love to our spouse, it will be by extending ourselves. So the more you give to your spouse, you love the fact that part of you is in this investment. So that's the way, and that's what's the famous Rav Dessler said, the more you give, the more you love. You do not give to the one who loves, you love the one who you give to. Okay, now let's apply it to marriage in the ideal way. So no one, please, should be feeling offended, because I'm talking about the ideal, what should be. Okay, actually it's halakha, and if we will keep the halakha, the mitzvah in the Torah, the way it happened, the way it's designed in the halakha, that will be the ideal. So let's see what the halakha says about the obligation of love between husband and wife. Okay? So I'll start from the husband, and let's see first the source. The source is the Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin, Daf Ayin Vav, page 76. The Gemara brings a Baraita, and the Baraita says the following: Ha'ohev et ishto kegufo, ve'amechabda yoter migufo. First I'll recite it and then I'll translate. Ha'ohev et ishto kegufo, ve'amechabda yoter migufo, והמדריך בניו ובנותיו בדרך ישרה, והמסיען סמוך לפרקן, עליו הכתוב אומר, וידעת כי שלום אוהליך ופקדת נבך ולא תחטא. So the Baraita bring here four things relating to the family unit. So two of them are between the husband and the wife. And here what are the obligations of the husband toward the wife? Ha'ohevet ishto kegufo. You should love your wife the way you love yourself. That's about love. Now, aside from love, there is another thing called respect or kavod. Ve'amechabda yoter migufo. More than himself. Lechabed, to have respect. Ve'amechabda yoter migufo. והמדריך בניו ובנותיו בדרך ישרה, when they Be'ezrat Hashem will have children, there is still obligation not just to help them growing up physically, emotionally, but make them mensch, human beings, in the right way. המדריך בניו ובנותיו בדרך ישרה. So it's an obligation to bring a child to the world, obligate you to raise the child in the right way. המדריך בניו ובנותיו בדרך ישרה. Another responsibility, that part of this, המסיען סמוך לפרקן, as much as it's in your hands, you should make sure that they will get married. Only then you finish your obligation toward your children. אוקיי, עליו הכתוב אומר, וידעת כי שלום הוא עליך, ופקדת נבך ולא תחטא. This is the ideal and this is the completion. שלום הוא עליך. עליך is the house or the family unit. So based on this, the Rambam brings להלכה. So this is a bright end Gemara. להלכה, the Rambam brings the following. It's in הלכות אישות, פרק ט"ו, chapter 15, הלכה י"ט. וכן ציוו חכמים, שיהיה אדם מכבד את אשתו יותר מגופו. The Torah says, ואהבת לרעך כמוך in general. In general meaning between any Jew to other fellow Jew. ואהבת לרעך כמוך. But now we're speaking, the Rambam here in Hilchot Ishut speaks about the obligation within the unit of the family. So we bring that it's mitzvat chachamim, it's the Rabbanan, to the apply of the general commandment, mitzvah in the Torah, ואהבת לרעך כמוך, is the following. שיהיה אדם מכבד את אשתו יותר מגופו. And start from the respect. And the respect, you should respect your wife more than you respect yourself. יותר. We have to understand why later. ואוהבה כגופו. But you have to love your wife the way you love yourself. So the respect is more than the love is the same. ואם יש לו ממון, if he's doing well financially, מרבה בטובתה כפי הממון. He should offer her according to what he have. ולא יטיל עליה אימה יתרה. All this is part of the halacha. You should not make her feel fear from him more than it needed. Meaning, he's not her boss. ויהיה דיבורו עמה בנחת. When they talk, they should talk, now he's talking about his obligation, to talk with her benachat. So it's a continuation of the former things. לא יטיל עליה אימה יתרה. He should not make her fear too much from him, and he should speak with her pleasantly, benachat. ולא יעצב, ולא יהיה רוגז. Now, there's two things. He should not be sad in her company, even if he has reasons. Not when his wife is around. She do not have to suffer from your mood. So if you have reason to be sad, you're not allowed to express it in front of your wife. ולא יהיה רוגז. And also, don't be angry. Not just at her. That's for sure. If something irritates you and you are in fiery mood, not in front of her.
What happens if you have a husband that doesn't do that?
I said in the beginning that talking about the ideal, that what should be.
There are men that don't do that.
Of course.
And so is there good reason to leave them, to separate them?
It's not right. I'm talking about what should be. What should be. Of course, there are, this is halacha. There are many halachos in the. Not everyone doing this. It's not giving them. It's not saying that it's okay, but it's not right. But this is the way it should be. Meaning, any man who care about halacha, the same way he care about anything, keeping Shabbat, putting on tefillin, this is halacha. This is halacha that a man who care about halacha should follow. So, let me just summarize it. Again, respect more than he respect himself. Love the way he love himself. If he has money, according to what he have, he should offer her. If she need or wants to do whatever, according to what he have. He is not allowed to make her fear from him. He should talk with her pleasantly. He is not allowed to be sad, on a sad mood in front of her. Not even if he has reason that she is not part of the reason that he is sad, he should not, when he in her company, he should not express his sadness. And he is not allowed to be mad or angry. Yeah.
Talmud is only directing instructions to the man. Are there instructions for the wife?
Yes, but I said, okay, let me repeat this, the order. I quote first the Torah, ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha. Then we went to the Talmud, I brought the Baraita and the Talmud. Now we're going to the halacha, and this is the first halacha that I'm reading. There is another halacha, but this is the halacha for the men, okay? Again, it's in the Rambam, Ilchot Ishut, Perek Tetvav, halacha Yutet. Next halacha relate to the wife. The obligations are from both sides. That's what he obligated from his point of view. Now look at the obligation of the wife. The next halacha. וכן ציוו חכמים על האישה שתהיה מכבדת את בעלה ביותר מדי. And every word over here is in its place. I mean, it's not the same. It's not the same. שתהיה מכבדת את בעלה ביותר מדי. She should respect her husband more than enough. It's not say more than her, or it's not comparing the obligation of her to his obligations. She should, let's go back again. שיהיה אדם מכבד את אשתו יותר מגופו. He should respect her more than he respects himself. Now she should respect him, not more than herself, but more than enough. More than enough, meaning it's not, you're doing according to the book. You have to do extra. Why? We'll see later. But first what the halacha says. ויהיה לו עליה מורא. She should respect him not just in awe, but in awe. Not from fear, but in awe. יהיה לו עליה מורא ותעשה כל מעשיה על פיו. And she should do, see, this is the problem that connected to the thing that we mentioned in the last few classes. I think I mentioned it almost every time. The major difference between the point of view of the Torah and the point of view of the Western society. The Western society see each one of the two as a complete person. They are together like partners, right? The Torah point of view it's not 1 plus 1, it's half plus half. So if it's half plus half, it's easier. If it's 1 by 1, 1 plus 1, each one of the ones is complete by itself. So he said, why should I do it? There is a resistance because of the fact that you are complete by yourself. But if you have no problem. And I just use this point in order to explain something that I owe you. When we spoke about the mitzvot and the mitzvot that ladies are not obligated to, and people could say, what, does that make the man superior? Then therefore he relate to more mitzvahs than the lady. So we explained that Isha omeret she'asani kirtzono because she is more close, she doesn't need those things in order to shape her personality because she's there anyways. But the same way, me as a man, I'm obligated to put on tefillin, right? But I'm putting on tefillin on one hand. I'm putting it on my left hand, right? So no one could even think about a jealousy that will be between the left hand and the right hand. And the right hand say, it's not fair, put it on me sometimes too, or half and half, we are equal, right? There is no point, there is no such a thing. Why? Because it's not this versus this. It's a unit, it's a team. It's a team. When you have a team and the team has the same goal, each one of the partners of the team wants the success of the other, wants to help in sports. When you have groups who plays, right? Basketball, football, soccer, everything like this, you have different roles. And each one of the players wants that the other player that has the role will be doing, he will help him to do whatever needs, and there is no jealousy between, because it's a unit. And this is the key. If you understand it, you understand the right way of the relationships. So the thing is, we are free willers, and this is a problem. I mean, that caused the difficulties. Each one of the two is a free willer. Now, when we're born and grew up, we never met our spouse yet. And we have to live our life until we'll find the Bashert, the one that we're going to marry to. But meanwhile, we developed self-identity as individual. Then when you get married, it should be a switch of the disk of the concept that now you are two that should be one and working as one. And if you understand it, you can understand something that is so difficult to understand in this halacha. ויהיה לו מורא עליה ותעשה כל מעשיה על פיו. Why? It seems like I have to give up my will and do according to the will of my husband. It seems that I'm giving up something. But if I understand that it's one unit, and when you have, let's say, an airplane that need two, a pilot and a co-pilot, but the co-pilot is something that it's not just in emergency that he will take the control. There is something, a navigator. There used to be a pilot and a navigator, right? So, if the navigator wants to be the pilot, it will be dangerous. Each one of them has to know what's exactly their place. So, when you have two that actually be creating a unit of one, someone has to lead. Someone, double meaning, has to lead. And that should be him. And she should be happy with this, not feeling jealousy that I want to lead. Besides, he's less smart than me. Okay, it could be. Therefore, when you get married, you have to get married to the right person. You have to know that this is a person that you really appreciate. Really, not just. And when you the first connection developed on all the stupidities, like feelings. Not that feelings are not right, but the entire concept of shidduchim is to not develop feelings before you analyze that this is the right person. That, let's say, from the point of view of her, yeah, he's something that I really appreciate. I think we think a lot. We think we're on the same page, and he has the abilities to lead, and I want him to lead. So that's things that should be verified before and developed and work on during the time of the marriage. But that's the halacha. Let's continue the instructions over here. ויהיה לו מורא עליה, ותעשה כל מעשיה על פיו, ויהיה בעיניה כמו שר או מלך. I know, it's not... when we educated and developed in this Western society, all these things seems to us, wow, but look, let's finish it. ויהיה בעיניה כמו שר או מלך. שר או מלך meaning leader. שר מלשון סורר. שררה. leadership. או מלך. מהלכת בתאוות ליבו. She should go according to his wants. Of course, when we're talking about someone who has the right wants. Because if he's crazy and he has twisted wants or desires, for sure it's not applied. The Rambam talking here about people who wants to do what's right. And therefore, first he put his obligation to her, and now her obligation to him. Because if he will fulfill his obligation to her, he is the right person to follow, to make a leader. His wants will be healthy ones, right ones, balanced ones. But if this is the case, there is no problem מהלכת בתאוות ליבו ומרחקת כל מה שישנא. When you want to go close to someone, sometimes you sacrifice things that for yourself will not be the thing that interested you. But when you want to be close to someone, you verify what they appreciate, and you willingly to sacrifice quote in order to get close. I have no problem. I know it's, you know what, it's not my taste. But if it's your taste, I want to make you happy. I want us to be happy. So I'm really ready to sacrifice. ומרחקת כל שישנא, and then the Rambam concludes, and he says the following, וזהו דרך בנות ישראל ובני ישראל הקדושים והטהורים בזיווגם, ובדרכים אלו יהיה יישובן נאה ומשובח. This is the way of, yes, וזהו דרך, and this is the way, בנות ישראל ובני ישראל, the daughters and the children of Israel, or the sons of Israel, הקדושים והטהורים בזיווגם. הקדושים והטהורים. קדושים is holy. The holy and pure in their marriage. ובדרכים אלו, and if they will do this, יהיה יישובן נאה ומשובח. He promised us, or he summarized this, their being together will be beautiful and enhanced, meshubach. So we have obligations over here from his side, from her side. If they will do this, they will be the ideal couple. Now again, you have to be in the same page, and this is the problem. I know when we learn what we learn over here, it seems so up and so ideal and so not relevant to the reality that we are in. We have to remember, the reality, our reality, we are victims of the corrupt, twisted ideas of the society that we grew up in. And that caused all the problems. And when we see these things, some of them seems to us it's against of all what I believe or I learned or I know. The key thing over here is to be in the same page. So I think practically, if people will get advice, actually it's more than advice, it's a course, it's all course. Before you get married, what are what's the hashkafa? What you should look for? And when people date before, this is the thing that should be the topics. Not just going to a trip or to watching a movie together or whatever. This is the things. You have to make sure that you are on the same page. And if you raise children in the right way, that the way you teach the boys and that the way that you teach the girls, it's something simple that this is what we want. If you are in advance at the same page, any conflict that's gonna come up, technically, easily could be solved. When people have problem with, let's say, arguments, that he thinks so, she thinks so, they come to the advisors. So usually, even if they have the interest to work to save their marriage, they will feel always that someone give up something in order. That should not be the thing. It's not giving up. You know, it always comes at the end to the midot, to the characters, to the way the personality built. Now, in any argument about issue, usually the issue is not the thing. The ego is the thing, and the issue is the way to express the ego, and the ego is against ego. And that's why it's caused everything is blowing up. See the benefit. If he knows that the Torah is true. And he knows that he wants to live up to the Torah. And he knows that in many things he is according to the Torah, but certain things he still has to work on. And she thinks the same. The Torah is the truth. I want to live according to the Torah. I'm trying, but not in all areas. When they will be married and they will have a conflict, the conflict will not be my way toward your way, ego versus ego. We both agree that we are not perfect. Really agree, really agree that we are not perfect. And when I decided finally that you're right and I'm doing your way, I'm not giving up my opinion and I'm not doing your way. It's not your way or my way. It's the Torah way. So, when it's Torah way, after you got to a compromise, you do not give up anything. You feel good that you finally got rid of the things that you so far until now didn't do according. And now you're forced to do it. And this is actually the reason of, if you remember in the first shiur in this series, we spoke about Vayomer Hashem, lo tov heyot ha'adam levado, e'eseh lo ezer kenegdo. And we ask, ezer kenegdo, ezer is a helper. Kenegdo is against. It seems a contradiction. Even though you could translate it kenegdo alongside, but kenegdo is against. And there is something very deep in this. We are not perfect creatures. Hashem created us here in this world in order for us to create ourselves. We mentioned that. When you are working to build yourself, create yourself, there are things that you do and really change, but there are things that you always push. One day, not now, it's too hard, it's too big, I'm not ready. You're always pushing it, right? When you get married, all the things that you pushed, you know that you have to deal with them, but you push them. Now you have no choice. Why? Because the things that you do not do right, in a way, sitting and bothering you. You know the concept in psychology called cognitive dissonance. When you have things that you know you should do, but technically, practically, you do just the opposite, or not what. So it's bothering. It's really bothering you. You cannot be calm. It's a pressure. There are two ways to solve a problem. Easy and not right, or hard and right. See, what's the problem? Your cognitive and your reality. This is the dissonance, the disharmony. It cannot be so apart. So the way to solve the problem is to make them together. But there are two ways. The easy way is, this is what I know I should be, and here I am. The easy way is, I have to change. I don't want to change. So I stay here, and I take this and get it closer here until it will meet me. Meaning, I ask, who said that this is the right thing? I'm the right thing. And then there is no dissonance, right? But what did you do? You twisted the truth and make it fit you. This is the easy way. The hard way is to change yourself to go to meet the standards, right? But it required you to work. So many people will not choose this thing, but they solve the problem. They solve the problem by twisting the truth and say, who said that this is the truth? There are different opinions, and you could do it, and then you bring the truth to you, and you say, I'm the truth, I'm perfect. The way I'm perfect, then no dissonance. Of course, the right way is to change yourself. Because when you take all the ideas of philosophies in the world and choose from them what's right for you, you stand in the same place. You're not moving. You're not developing. You have to verify what is the real truth and analyze how far you are from it, and then slowly but surely go toward it. When you got married, in this way, that you both know that there is truth, one truth, and this is the Torah, and you know that you really want to live up to the Torah, but you're not perfect yet, but you want to. When you have a spouse and you have a situation in life that force you not to push it and push it and push it, and therefore the kenegdo is the ezer. The kenegdo, you could lie to everyone, and the worst lie is to lie to yourself. Chazal said that, I think I mentioned this in this series, that when Hashem created Adam, he advised the malachim, the angels, and the angel called Emet says, don't create him, he's a liar. He's a liar, don't create him. And this is true. This world, called by Chazal, our sages call this world Alma de Shikra, a world of lie, the entire world. Now a person feels very comfortable in this world because he is part of the lie. Now why a person is a liar? Every decent person knows, doesn't have to be Jewish for this, that honesty, truth are values, right? So take a person that appreciates honesty and truth. You could find this person lying. It's very human. It's not justifying it. This is the reality. This is the fact. Now, when you analyze why, you do not like when people lie to you. And not just because of that. To be honest, is a value. So how come you lie? So if you analyze it, you'll see the following. Why people lie? The lie has one purpose. Cover up. When a person acts not in the right way, he knows that he did something wrong. First of all, he will try that no one will know about it. If someone will know about it and confront him with this, he will deny it. Why he will deny it? To cover up. I can't agree that I'm wrong, that I did something wrong. So the lie is a cover-up for the wrong deed. If I did the right thing, I have no problem that everyone will know about it, because this is the right thing to do. When I want to cover it, when I feel and know that it's not right. So this is the reason people lying. Now, why it's so intense and why so many people, so many times lying? Because they have a body. We have a body and we have a soul. If we have only a soul, the soul, we said, it's pure. Elokai neshama shenatata bi tehorai. It's pure. The problem is that the soul is inside the body. Now, all the mistakes or all the wrong deeds come from when the body overcome the soul, the neshama, and did something disconnect to the truth because of the enjoyment of the moment or interest of the moment without seeing the big picture. So who to blame always about the fact that people lying? The body, the material. It's not just the physical needs, the ego and the twisted characters also come from the same place. So it's not easy to first of all realize this. So many people think, as I said about the dissonance, the cognitive dissonance, who said that there is truth for altogether? Everyone will do whatever they want to do, and this they call it in so stupid way, this is my truth. What do you mean, my truth? Could you define first what truth is? I'll tell you what truth is. Truth equals reality. And reality is not private. It's not yours. Either you in the reality or you live in a fake reality. And the fake reality, people called their fake reality my truth. It's not the truth, it's a fake. It's a fake. You are not doing what's right. There is one truth and one reality. Either you're there or not. There is no your truth. It just not goes together, my and truth. If it's truth, it's everyone. If it's only yours, it's not truth. It's not truth, it's you. And you all off the truth. Anyways, so the Torah is the absolute truth. That's the way people should be. Human beings should be. This is the Tzelem Elokim. This is the right way to be human. When both the husband and the wife agree about this, all their future challenges and conflict are much easier to be solved. Because, let's say I have an argument with my wife about something, and she said this, and I said that, and we really, all of us, both of us at the time of the argument, sure that we are right. So the way to verify it is very, very easy. If you have an objective ruler, that's not you or her, and you both are obligated to it, okay, after I express what I think and you express your, let's verify it. What Hashem says, what the Torah says, what's right. If I do not, if I'm not capable myself to verify it by opening a book, let's go to a professional. Professional means someone who really know the Torah and know what's right, and they will, meaning go ask a Rav, a real Rav, that really knows what he's talking about, right? A posek halacha. And if I'm honest that I really believe that the Torah is the truth, and she is the same, when we'll go to the Rav, and the Rav will hear the two sides, open the book, or knows because he knows the Torah, and he tell us, this is the way, sometimes I will realize that I was wrong. And if I'm really obligated to the Torah, I was wrong. So when I realize that I'm wrong, I'm going to change my way, my thinking. So I'm not giving up to her. Let's say she was right, meaning she thought the way the Torah think, and I was not. When I give up, I'm not giving my ego for your ego. We both agree that the Torah is the one who decides. So all those conflicts are easier to solve without feeling resentful after. Because if you do compromises, and you know how it works like a business, you know what? We had an argument, you said that, I said that, I gave out for you. Now, okay? So now it's your turn. In the next argument, you will. And it's a business. You're always fighting. That's what's called scoring, right? I did this, so you're obligated to do that. And all of this is a competition, endless competition, that actually there is an end to it. Divorce. That's the end. And it's break the unity. So when we go back to this halachot about love, according to what the Rambam says, if you really do this, now, what do you mean you have to respect? I mean, let's go back to analyze the obligations. You have to respect your wife more than you respect yourself. She needs recognition. She needs to be respected. This is a need. I mean, it comes, Hashem, the creator of the male and the female, know better than any psychologist or psychiatrics what people need. And people need validation, men and ladies. But here, if you look at the balance, he has to respect her more than he respects himself, because that's what she needs. She has to respect herself more than it's enough, not more than herself, more than it's enough. Because he also had, and if you read the popular books about psychological needs of men and ladies, you could see that they're talking about those things from their point of view. You heard about boys from Mars and ladies from Venus. If you're familiar with this approach, very, very close to what the Torah says. But here's the Torah says, and here's the theory. Okay? So women need someone that she could appreciate, that could lead. And she have no problem to give the leadership if she's healthy. She doesn't, but he should deserve it. If she do not really respect him, let's say she think he's not smart enough or not this enough, and that's, she will not let him lead, and that will cause the problem. Therefore, it's very important before you decide that you get married that you really find the qualities that you could appreciate. And when you get married, you're going to do a deal of the life. This is the deal of the life, and it should be done very carefully, very thoroughly. But if it will be done in the right ways, the Rambam says, if you'll do this, Yishuvam yeh na'eh u'meshubach. It will be beautiful and enhanced because both have the benefit from it. Again, it's half plus half. So you have to switch the disc in your mind that it's a teamwork. Therefore, there is no jealousy. If my wife is successful, I'm so proud. I'm not jealous. If my wife will say about the husband, the same thing. And working as a team. Okay, so this is the summary of actually what we spoke about last time, the general obligation of Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, but the best way to express it is with the closest person to you, which is your spouse. So, and those are the halachot about this. I want to, in the 15 minutes that we have, to cover another two things. One of them are all those questions that actually one question. Why a lady is not part of a minyan? Why she could not say Kaddish? Why she should not go and to get a Likro Torah? And why she is not a judge or a witness? Okay, the answer for all of this is understanding the unit. In the unit, we have one unit, but two roles in the unit. And each one of the roles is needed, like the navigator and the pilot. The way it should be, and it doesn't matter that society changed, because you cannot change the nature of a person. And society changed, for sure. Things change in the last few decades even, for sure a few centuries. Things change, the way of life, the way people look at themselves. But here we're talking about how the Creator created us, and again, no one more than the Creator himself knows what's right. So the way the Torah teach us what are the rules of the two parts of the unit. So let's take it from, let's say, for example, a government. There are two ministers in the government, the interior minister and the foreign minister. The foreign minister, and they're all part of the same government, right? They should do work in a team. The interior minister is in charge of a lot of very important things. To be minister of the interior ministers, all the inside things. The foreign minister is taking care of the needs or the interest of the government or the body, which is the unit, let's say in the family, of the outside. So that's the way, the healthy way the thing should be. Because a lady is in charge of the family itself, she is the one who delivers the kids. She is the one who teaches the kids. Now, again, we have schools, and the schools take this job from the mother. I mean, not completely, but significant. Think of it, you know, from almost very early age, the kids are not with the mother, with a babysitter, then the kindergarten and school. So those things naturally should be done by the mother. Therefore, she is in the charge of the house and building the house. But the house could not exist without the resources. This is the job of the husband, to go out So technically we're talking about this thing, but in the deep thing, the mother called the house. The house is the mother, the inside. The father is the outside, or the husband is the outside. Now, it's not just because of this, but if you look on the rules the Torah gives the husband and the wife, you will see that you know this pasuk from Mishlei Kol Kvuda Bat Melech Pnima, the kavod, the respect, the kavod come from the root kaf bet dalet, which is the heaviness, the point, the major thing of a lady is the house. Kol Kvuda Bat Melech Pnima, because she is the pnimiyut. She is the inside. He is the outside. Now, all the things that require represent things outside are not belongs to her. Therefore, a minyan, why you need a minyan? To daven, to pray, right? Or you can pray yourself. But it's more to pray as a group. Because it's a public thing, it's against of what the rule that the lady should be in, because she is the bite. So all the things that take you out and put you in public figure, that's against the nature and the real rule of what the lady should be. So all of this, that's explained, the minyan, the Kriya B'Torah, the judge, about the judge and about the witness. I have to add over here something. There is an expression that in Hebrew many people knows, but in English I find out that not too many people know about it. Let me see here. Did you ever heard about this 3 words? Nashim da'atan kala. You heard about it? You know what that means? Ladies, so that's a problem, how to translate da'atan. Da'atan, it seems, many people translate it this way, they are not intelligent. Da'atan kala, they are very light-minded, or mind. And it seems so not right. How could you say that? So it's not the truth. That's why you could not say that. I agree. You cannot say that. It's not the truth. But it's impression that many Hebrew speakers knows. Nashim da'atan kala, when they translate it in the wrong way, that they're not serious. They are more they do not have the shikul da'at. I don't know how to say shikul da'at. They do not have balance in their decision. Okay. So it's not true, and I don't know how much we could go to it, but let me first of all show you the source, where is it coming from, and how to learn it right. Okay? There is a story. You ready for a story? Story that you might know, but maybe not all the details. The one who said this was not less than Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. He is the source. But when you see the context, you understand what they say. Let me tell you the story. The story was like this. After the destruction of the second temple, the Romans not just destroyed Beit HaMikdash, they later, few decades after, they killed the top scholars of the Jewish nation at the time, which called Asara Harugei Malchut, the 10 scholars that they murdered. One of them was Rabbi Akiva, that they murdered him when he was 120 years old. He was the Virav, the teacher of everyone, and they murdered him in a very, very cruel way. They cut his flesh from his bone when he's alive. So that was Rabbi Akiva. He was one of 10. The disciple of Rabbi Akiva was Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. So Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, after they did this, the destruction of Beit HaMikdash and killing his Rebbe and he was part of the Sanhedrin. And the Sanhedrin at the time, it was after the destruction of Beit HaMikdash Hasheni, the second Beit HaMikdash. The Sanhedrin was sitting in Yavne. Yavne, if you know in Eretz Yisrael, It's in the south, between close to Ashdod, Rehovot, Ashdod. There is a place called Yavne, south of Tel Aviv. So the Sanhedrin was there. And in the Sanhedrin, you have 70 scholars. This is the form, 71 with the president. The Sanhedrin was, at the time, even after the destruction of Beit HaMikdash, the supreme court of the Jews that were under the Romans' rule in Eretz Israel at the time. Not the entire form of the 70, 71 was there always, but at least minimum of 3 should be there in order for people to come ask questions and if they have things to judge, court. So the minimum court was 3 people. So the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat says the following story, that one day in Yavne was 3 scholars that was on duty. So they were there, and the name was Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yossi, and Rabbi Shimon. And before they started the day learning or waiting for people to come and ask questions, they were there, and the students was always next to them. And they had a few moments they spoke, not about the Torah. You know what they spoke about? Politics. Spoke about politics. Very short things. So the topic was the Romans. What's your opinion about the Romans? So what could be opinion of any Jew, especially those scholars about the Romans? They did terrible things, right? They destroyed Beit HaMikdash. They murdered their rabbis. So for sure, there's no question, they are completely negative. But Rabbi Yehuda, one of the 3, started and said, you know what, they did such terrible things, but we have to admit that there are few good things that they did and contribute. That's what Rabbi Yehuda said. תקנו שווקים, תקנו גשרים, תקנו מרחצאות. It seems technical things, but they did things that we should appreciate. They did it. They made markets. Until then was no market. Any farmer who, I don't know, raise tomatoes, anyone comes to him to get tomatoes. And if they need also cucumbers, they go to the other one to get cucumbers. They made those markets that all the people that have merchandise come to the same place and people come to them. So that's enhancing and elevating the quality of physical life. So said Rabbi Yehuda, with all the anger that we have toward them, we have to admit that this is a good thing that they do. The other thing, they made bridges. Bridges need technology. They did it. Without them, well, no bridges. Now let's cross rivers without bridges. Another thing that seems to us very, very basic today, but was not at the time. A public bath places, bath houses. So that's what Rabbi Yehuda said. With all the anger, but those 3 things, we cannot take the credit from them. They deserve a credit. Rabbi Yossi was sitting next to him. He heard him, and he was quiet. You know, it's not a quiet, but a loud quiet. Meaning, okay, I'm not saying anything. No comments, מה שנקרא. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai could not keep quiet. And he said, no, I don't agree. They do not deserve any credit for these things. You could not find even one little good thing that they did. All those things that you give them credit because we have benefit for it, that was not what they have in their mind. They did it for themselves, from egoistic reasons. And whatever. So he criticized them. One of the people that was students that heard his rebbeim talking about politics, which was something very rare, he went to the dining room and he told the other people, you know what the rabbi says today? Rabbi Yehuda says this positive thing. Rabbi Yossi was quiet, and Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai attacked them with fire. The words approached the intelligence of the Romans. They heard that and they decided the following. Rabbi Yehuda, who praised us, now we're giving him only he will be the one to answer questions of Jews who come to ask halacha questions, because we know that he is objective. He could see positive things in us, even though he has all the reasons, but he is balanced. Therefore, he will be the one who answer questions. Rabbi Yossi, that keep quiet, but loud quiet, we're going to exile him. So they exile him to Tzipori, which is in the north of the country, that he will not be part of it. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, that criticized us, death penalty. And he was now demanded, a man under hunt by the Romans. So he has no choice but to run away. And because of this, we are lucky that we got the Sitrei Torah and the Kabbalah, because he has to run away. But what was the process of running away? In the beginning, he needed a chavrusa. He needs someone to learn with. He could not just disappear. So he took his son, Rabbi Elazar, and they went to a small shul in the area, when the Romans could not find him, because they will look for him in the Sanhedrin. He's a member of the Sanhedrin. So he went nearby somewhere and became like a regular Jew who learned Torah. His wife was the one who bring them, her husband and her son, food and water and everything, every day. But the hunting was harder and pressured, and it became dangerous. They could not stay there anymore. So until now only his wife knows where they are. Everyone else didn't know. So he said to his son, and those are the words, he said to his son, it's dangerous now. We have to run. We have to run away to a place that no one will know where are we, even your mother, my wife. And that's what he says. Ki takif gzerta, this I'm quoting from the Gemara. When the gzera was heavier and it was more dangerous, amar lelivrei, he said to his son, Nashim da'atan kala aleihen, dilma metzar ela umegaliran. And this is the source of this. Women, her da'at is light on them. They might, in order to get us, catch her, and either will torture her or do something that she will reveal where we are. So we have to disappear in a way that even your mother will not know. So the words of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was, Nashim da'atan kala aleihen. And this is very important, the aleihen, on them. People quote it and cut off the aleihen and say, Nashim da'atan kala, they have a light mind. Nashim da'atan kala. Now let me explain this. This is very deep. I'll try to do it in 2 minutes. You heard about Chabad, right? No. I mean the real thing. Chabad is our initials of Chokhmah, Bina, Vadat, right? Chokhmah, Bina, Vadat. What is Chokhmah, Bina, Vadat? What's the difference between them? What's Chokhmah, what's Bina, what's Dat? So let me tell you. Chokhmah, quick, Chaval, we need more time for this, but we'll have maybe more opportunities in the future, not in this series. Chokhmah is wisdom. Chokhmah is not ever inside the person. You get it from outside. Either from a teacher who teach you, give you information that you never knew. Or you look at the reality and the reality will teach you. But it's information that comes from outside in. This is Chokhmah. Bina is when you got involved. Because when you learn and you have a teacher who teach you, you're passive. You're just listening. You're getting, right? After you got the information, when you start to analyze it and understand it, that's called Bina. Bina milashon binyan, to build a building. What is Bina? Let's say I learn new things from my teacher. He will tell me, for example, all the ducks in the world are white. This animal is brown or green. 2 pieces of information. I don't need the third. I do the third. After I know that all the ducks in the world are white, and this is not white. The third line is not something that I have to get from outside. It's inside. I have to take it out. My deduction will be, the deduction of it will be, this animal is not a duck. But this I never heard from my teacher. After he gave me the 2 bricks, I put another brick on them. And that's why bricks in Hebrew called leveina. Leveina. So leveina is called kashur lebina. Bina is something from in between, ben. And that's why Ben called Ben, because he comes from the mother and father, in between the Ben, Bina. So Bina is when you got involved to analyze what you learn, and now you're active, you're not passive. So this is Chokhmah and Bina. Again, Chokhmah comes from outside, Bina, after you got the Chokhmah, from it you build your building out of this. Now, when you talk about theoretical information, it could stay in your mind. You got the Chokhmah, you understand it, and that's it. Here comes the dot. What is the dot? Dot is chibur, to connect it, what you know in your mind, to your reality. This is dot. Dot is after the Chokhmah and the Bina, applying it to reality, and before you learned it, you never knew it, and you act according. Now you know you could not be indifferent. You have to take it in account and connect it to your life. This is that. Now what you have to know is the following. There is Bina and there is Dat. 2 different things. Bina is ladies are expert in Bina. Bina yetera nitna ba'isha yoter mi ba'ish. Vayiven Hashem et hatzela. Bina. What is Bina? Bina is I got, and now I developed, or I cultivate. Same way physically. Husband and wife. The husband give, the wife receive, cultivate, and deliver. Right? So the Bina is naturally more in the lady than in the man. This is the Bina. So in this, there is a benefit of a lady over the man because she's naturally is Bina Yatira. When it comes to, after I understand it, to apply it, here there is a difference between the men and ladies. And what is the difference? Men apply, after they learned, they apply it to their life in a very strong way. Ladies apply it in a flexible way. They are much more flexible, and this is for their good. It's because they have to run the family, to raise the kids. It's not, I know that do it this way, don't argue. No, she is flexible. That's called da'atan kala. It's not strong and stubborn, but more flexible. So it's a good thing about ladies, the da'atan kala. But therefore, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was afraid that if they will maneuver and do manipulation on her, she might discover them or reveal them, and that's why. But it's not comes from the negative thing to put them down and say, ladies, you cannot trust them. That's not it. Therefore, they could not be judges. Because judge, according to the Torah, there is truth. You could not play with it. Ladies has other things in consideration. They more soft and they more understanding, so they could understand the person who they judge not in the right way. So because of this, same way she could not be a witness, because a witness should be so strong, because all the others, the other side will attack. So to put her in this situation is against her nature. Therefore, it's better for her not to be a judge, not to be a witness. Again, not because she is down, but because she is what she is. Because his nature obligate this. Okay, so we over the time, but and this thing we could do a series of 15 shiurim classes, but that's what we could do, and I hope everyone could have some benefit of understanding from this. Thank you.